looking at everything, I just knew that she was not okay because of how bad everything looked. So I said, I got to the 7-Eleven finally, and there were some people with a crane, one of the small cranes that was lifting debris up, and I ran over and I said, did they find any survivors here? I'm looking for my mom. And there was a younger man that was running the crane, and he said, no, the only people that we pulled out of here were already dead. So I ran a little further, just to the east, and there was another group of people that was hand-picking debris out, and I said, were there any survivors? And they said they found a couple. They took them over to the hospital across the street. I got here and I ran up to the counter, and I told them her name, and it took forever to go through the list of people, and they finally found her, and she said, she's here, she's in trauma 3. They knew her name when they brought her in. I didn't know any of this at first, so she said she's in trauma 3, go ahead and go back there. So I ran back there, and they knew her name because she was conscious when they brought her in. And as I got closer, I realized it was just surgeons. It was just 20 maybe surgeons that were all across the room. Yeah. And they said, come on in, she's conscious, go ahead and start talking to her. We're getting ready to take her in for emergency surgery, but go ahead and talk to her. So I walked in, and she was real, she was already prepared for, they were going right into surgery as soon as we were done. So I walked up, and I could see the cut on the side of her face. Her face was swollen, her eyes were swollen shut, and she already had been intubated. The doctor said, go ahead and talk to her, and so I walked over to her, and I touched her hand, and I just said, I told you I'd find you. I promise I would. And I said, it's going to be fine. You're going to be just fine. I'm going to be right here when you're done with surgery. They're getting ready to take you back. And I said, it probably feels worse than it is. You look just fine. Don't worry about it. And she kind of smiled and said, okay. She was in surgery that night 7.5 hours. I think I was just so scared that we didn't sleep for probably the first 3 days. Maybe in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, I was able to sleep, and just scared beyond belief, because we'd already lost my dad, and I just couldn't imagine not having my mom. So surgery went great. They got everything that they could do at that point, and so they just said that now we have to wait, because the trauma to her lungs and her heart, they said that the bruising to her heart and her lungs and everything was really, really the worst of everything right now, besides her, of course, her injuries and wounds and stuff.
The noise was incredible. And then it truly felt like the room was spinning. It felt like all of a sudden the whole room we were in was spinning, and then all of a sudden, that's it. I don't know what happened from there, because that's the last thing I can remember.
I sure am glad that you're making good progress.
Yeah, I'm coming along.
You are?
On my surgeries and some of the stuff I'm healing. They said it's healing.
Yeah, that's
It's
a
not
good
all the
deal.
way. It's not all the way finished healing, but
That it's healing.
it's healing.